Jiang Buk brought her back on a night when the mountain wind howled like a mourning cry. Lu Min sensed her presence before he saw her. The moment she stepped through the gates of the Taoist compound, the temperature dropped subtly, as though winter had arrived ahead of schedule. Yin energy, dense, sharp, and suffocating, rolled through the air in silent waves. Lu Min's nine-yang constitution reacted instinctively, his chest tightening as opposing forces clashed within him. Jiang Buk called her the master's wife, but from the very beginning, nothing about her resembled a wife. She was chained, thick iron shackles bound her wrists and ankles, engraved with talismans that glowed faintly with suppressive light. Each step she took was accompanied by the clink of metal against stone. Her neck bore a blood-stained seal, a talisman pressed directly against her skin, sealing her voice and power alike. Her appearance was breathtaking. Snow-white skin, long black hair cascading down, her back and features so exquisite they felt unreal, like a painting brought to life. Yet her eyes were cold and distant, holding neither fear nor pleading, only a quiet, dangerous calm. Lu Min could not look away. Jiang Buk noticed and smiled. "She is my wife," Jiang Buk announced casually. "A woman I took in long ago." Lu Min did not dare ask questions. The compound changed the moment she arrived. Incense burned constantly to suppress her aura. Protective formations were reinforced. Even Jiang Buk's behavior shifted. He became irritable, cautious, and more controlling than ever. At night, Lu Min sometimes heard faint sounds echoing from the sealed chamber where she was kept. Chains tightening, talismans flaring, a muffled gasp that never quite became a scream. Jiang Buk claimed it was discipline. "Her yin nature is too strong," he said. "If not restrained, it will bring disaster." Lu Min listened in silence, but the unease in his heart deepened. One evening, Jiang Buk summoned Lu Min to the inner hall. "This concerns your survival," he said, his voice low. "Your yang energy has grown too intense. The usual methods are no longer enough." Lu Min's fingers curled into his sleeves. Jiang Buk gestured toward the sealed chamber. "She will help you release it." The implication struck Lu Min like a thunderbolt. "But she is your wife," he said hesitantly. Jiang Buk laughed softly. "Do not be foolish. Cultivators are not bound by mortal ethics." He did not mention her chains. He did not explain her pain. Lu Min saw her up close for the first time that night. The talismans were removed just enough to allow controlled interaction. Even so, iron chains remained wrapped around her limbs, binding her to the bed like a sacrificial offering. Her eyes met Lu Min's, clear, sharp, and filled with restrained fury. She said nothing, but in that silence, Lu Min felt something far more terrifying than words. Yin energy poured from her body in cold waves. His yang energy surged in response, burning hot beneath his skin. The clash nearly overwhelmed him. "Focus," Jiang Buk ordered. "Do not think. Let the energies flow." Lu Min obeyed, because refusal meant death. Only later did Lu Min learn the truth. Her name was Xiao Bai. She was not human. She was a fox spirit, a cultivator who had survived centuries of trials and nearly ascended beyond the mortal realm. But her final heavenly tribulation had gone awry. Severely injured, she was captured by Jiang Buk at her weakest moment. What made her special was not just her beauty, it was her yin slaughter constitution, a rare body saturated with extreme yin energy. When paired with the nine-yang constitution, the resulting balance could shatter souls and rewrite destinies. To Jiang Buk, she was the final piece. Xiao Bai did not beg. She did not scream. She endured. Each time Zhang Buk forced her into these sessions, her aura weakened. Slightly, but her gaze grew sharper. She watched Lu Minh not with hatred, but with something far more complex. Understanding, pity, and a quiet calculation of her own. Between rituals, Xiao Bai was returned to her sealed chamber. Chains tightened, talismans renewed. Her body bore the marks of repeated suppression, bruises, burns, and cuts where seals had failed and been forcibly restored. Zhang Buk showed no mercy. To him, Xiao Bai was not a wife, she was a tool, a container of yin energy meant to stabilize Lu Min's body until the final ritual, and then suppress his soul during body possession. Lu Min began to see it. Zhang Buk was not just preparing one sacrifice, he was preparing two. Late one night, as Lu Min passed the sealed chamber, a voice reached him, soft as falling snow. "You are not the only one in chains," Xiao Bai said. Lu Min froze. Her gaze met his through the narrow gap in the door. For the first time, something like warmth flickered in her eyes. "He will kill you," she continued calmly. "And if he fails, he will kill me." Lu Min's heart pounded. That night, he did not sleep. From then on, Lu Min understood. The woman called Sun Wang was not a revered elder's spouse. She was a fox spirit named Xiao Bai, bound by chains and talismans, bearing a yin slaughter constitution that made her both invaluable and disposable. And like Lu Min, she was waiting for the moment the chains would loosen. Waiting for the moment when victim and victim might become allies. Zhang Buk believed he controlled everything, but within the shadows of the compound, beneath the weight of suppression and pain, two beings marked for sacrifice had begun to awaken. And when they did, the mountain would not remain silent. From the moment the truth revealed itself, Lu Min realized one thing with terrifying clarity. There was no safe place left for him. He stood at the center of a silent storm, surrounded by three forces, each pulling him toward a different kind of death. None of them were allies in the truest sense. None offered salvation without a price, and every choice he made would cost blood. The first side was Zhang Buk. The man Lu Min had once called master no longer hid his intentions completely. Though his words remained gentle and his smile unchanged, his eyes had grown sharper, calculating, impatient. Zhang Buk no longer saw Lu Min as a disciple. He saw him as a body nearing maturity. The rituals became more frequent. The blood taken from Lu Min increased. The formations in the forbidden cave were reinforced and refined, their runes growing more complex with each passing month. Zhang Buk's condition was deteriorating faster than he had expected. His hands trembled when he believed no one was watching. His breathing grew uneven after even minor exertion. The decay within his body had reached a critical point. He could not wait much longer. Every glance he cast at Lu Min carried the same unspoken message: soon. For Zhang Buk, Lu Min was not meant to survive the ritual. Once the soul transfer was complete, Lu Min's consciousness would be erased, crushed beneath the invading will of a dying demonic cultivator. To Zhang Buk, this was not murder, it was inheritance. The second side was far more unpredictable, the female demons imprisoned in the mountain cave. To Lu Min, they were victims, bound, tortured, and used as tools. But he knew now that this was only half the truth. Demons survived by instinct. Mercy was not a virtue carved into their nature. They wanted to live. And if survival required blood, they would not hesitate. Each time Lu Min entered the cave, he could feel it, their gazes lingering on his body, on the dense yang energy flowing through his veins. To beings of yin, his existence was intoxicating. His flesh was nourishment, his blood was power. They did not hide it. "You reek of life," one of them once whispered, her lips curling into a smile. That was anything but kind. "If the old man dies, who do you think we will eat first?" Lu Min never answered. He understood the truth all too well. If Zhangbuk fell, the formations might weaken. If the seals broke, the demons would be free. And the first thing they would do would be to devour the source of yang energy that had sustained them for so long. To them, Lu Min was not a person. He was a walking treasure. The third side was the most dangerous of all, because it was the only one that offered hope. The woman known as Sun Wang, Xiao Bai. Unlike Zhangbuk, she wanted Lu Min alive. Unlike the demons, she did not hunger for his flesh, but she was still a demon, and she was still trapped. Xiao Bai stood at the intersection of victim and predator. Her yin slaughter constitution made her powerful enough to threaten Zhangbuk, yet vulnerable enough to be crushed by him. She had been abused, sealed, and humiliated, but her spirit had not broken. To Lu Min, she was both a warning and a possibility. If Zhangbuk succeeded, she would be discarded. If Zhangbuk failed, she might be the only one capable of keeping the other demons in check. She was not a savior, she was a gamble. Lu Min felt the weight of it all, pressing down on him. If he did nothing, Zhangbuk would eventually seize his body. If he acted too soon, he would be torn apart by demons or crushed by his master's retaliation. If he trusted the wrong person, he would die even faster. Every path led toward death. The difference lay only in how he died. Slowly, painfully, Lu Min began to change. Fear no longer paralyzed him, it sharpened him. He learned to hide his thoughts behind obedience. He learned to let his yang energy flow, just enough to satisfy the rituals, while secretly condensing the rest deep within his core. He studied the formations not as a disciple, but as a prisoner searching for weaknesses. At night, he practiced controlling his breath, suppressing his aura so even Zhangbuk could not fully sense the changes within him. Survival became calculation. Trust became currency. Xiao Bai noticed first. "You are different," she said quietly one night, her voice barely audible through the seals. "You are no longer waiting to die." Lu Min did not deny it. "I don't know who to trust," he admitted. Xiao Bai's lips curved into a faint smile. "Then don't trust anyone. Use us." The word lingered between them. Use, it was cruel, but it was honest. Lu Min understood then. There were no righteous choices left, only necessary ones. Zhangbuk wanted his body. The demons wanted his flesh. Xiao Bai wanted freedom and survival, and Lu Min wanted to live. If that meant standing between three predators and learning to become one himself, then so be it. The game had already begun, and this time Lu Min would not be the piece moved across the board. He would be the one who decided who died first.